This is the master bedroom. And we were thinking about putting crown molding up here as well.
Yeah, and I picked out this crown molding here, which is obviously larger and a bit more ornate than what I used in the library, and it's not made out of wood.
Right, this is actually made out of foam. You've picked the egg and dart profile on here. They have a lot of different profiles. And what I like about this stuff, it's very stable. So it doesn't expand and contract, and the joints won't open over time.
Is it going to be harder for me to work with it than the wood?
No, it actually goes up just like wood, and it's not any harder. Let me get some tools and we can get started.
Great.
All right, that looks good. Our carpet's all protected. Now there's a few different ways that we can install this molding. We could nail it in place, but we have to worry about this molding getting dented, maybe from the nail gun or from a hammer, and then it would have a hole to fill. You can glue it in place, but then you have to worry about the excess glue spilling onto the ceiling or the wall. We'd have to clean that off. Well, we have a new system that the manufacturer sent us, and I've never used it before. It's actually a plastic clip. The plastic clip will screw up against the ceiling and against the wall. And on the back of the molding, they supplied two little kerf cuts. So when the clip is on the wall, you actually push the molding into the clip, and it holds it to the wall. No nail holes to fill. So let's get the brackets in place. The manufacturer recommends the clips be spaced about 12 inches apart. So I've marked the wall in 12-inch increments. We can now screw the clips to the wall. All right, Charlotte, what I want you to do is take this clip and hold this part tight against the ceiling and this part tight against the wall and drive the screw into this hole right here. But try to keep the screw level. Don't go up or down with it.
Okay.
All right? So you get up there. We'll put the screw right on the end of the tip of the screw gun. There you go. Just feather the trigger. That's right. A little bit at a time. Bring it right in tight to the wall. There you go. All right, ready for the next clip. Now the reason I'm having you put the blue tape below the bracket is because it's a locator. Now when we put the molding up against the wall, we can't see the bracket. So when I punch the molding into the bracket, we're lined up perfect. All right, we're ready to start measuring for our molding. And what I want to do first is I want to start on this inside corner right here, and I want to find out if this corner is square. So I'm going to use this square right here, and I'm going to hold it against the wall. Now I can see that this inside corner is not 90 degrees. It's out of square. So what I'm going to use is another tool right here. This tool right here will automatically bisect the angle. Now I put it in the corner, open it up, tight to each wall, and then I tighten down on the clamp to lock it into position. Now I have the exact angle that I want to cut the crown molding, so let's take this tool to the saw. Now I take one leg of my dividing gauge and I hold it tight against the fence of the saw. I then move the saw over with my laser light. I line up this line right here in the gauge, and that's our center line. And my angle will be bisected perfectly. Now we're ready to cut our molding. Now here's how it sits on the wall, and here's how we're going to cut it on our saw. Now we have to think of the base of the saw as the ceiling and the fence of the saw as the wall. Now I've positioned these two blocks on the saw that will hold my molding at the right angle. It will hold it flat against the wall, which will make it flat against the ceiling. Now if I was to take this molding and hold it flat against the fence and make a cut, that's a simple miter. But a crown molding actually has two angles. When I make this cut, it's now a compound miter. Now I'm ready to make my first cut. Now I've already cut one angle for our molding. Now let's see what the other angle will be. And it's the same, so that's good. So now I'll measure for the length. And that is 40 3/4. All right, now we're ready to make this cut right here. We've already cut one of the angles on our first piece of molding. With our saw still set at the same angle, we'll cut our second piece of molding. All right, let's see how it fits. All right, the miter is good. Now you also notice that we cut it so we'd have a mirror image of the egg and dart detail on each side of the miter. Now before we snap it in place, I want to run a thin bead of acrylic latex caulking right on that joint. Okay, now let's push it into the corner. Snap in my first one. All right, now I'll hit the molding right above the blue tape. Okay, ready for the next piece. All right, now to put this next piece up, so I don't have to measure and I'll guaranteed to get the right length, we're going to hold the piece upside down. I'm going to measure the piece about 1/8 of an inch longer than needed, and we'll just spring it into place so it'll get a nice tight fit. Now the gap between the top of the molding and the wave in the ceiling right there, I can fill that with a little bit of caulking. After I fill it, I'll just wipe it with a wet rag. So the molding will fit around the register. I actually cut out the bottom of it right here. Let's see how it fits. It's pretty good. Now I want to mark the length for this outside corner. So I've snapped this piece into position. I take my pencil, hold it on this wall here, and mark the underside of the piece. That's my length. Now I'll cut the piece. All right, now we're ready for the last piece. Let's see how it fits. I want to get it tight into the corner. Now I want to line up the outside corner. And it's important that it lines up, it's tight, and the pattern matches. All right, that looks good. The egg and dart pattern matches perfectly on each side. Now I'm going to give you a little secret on why I started right here in this part of the room. This is the only part of the room where we could not match the egg and dart pattern.
And we'll never notice it.
Not in this corner. Well, guys, what do you think? That's it?
It's phenomenal, Tom. It really dresses up the room.
You've really done an amazing job.